Saturday morning. Rex Harding was more nervous than he had been before any fight in his life. That bothered him. A little girl was coming to Patty's diner. He had faced men twice his size without feeling his stomach tighten like this. But an 8-year-old girl with a purple backpack had him checking the clock every 30 seconds. Patty's smelled like coffee, bacon, and rain that never quite fell. Rex had arrived early anyway. He'd even changed into a clean black shirt beneath his cut, which was the kind of thing a man noticed only when he was nervous enough to care. Bishop sat at the counter pretending to be a regular, his white ponytail hanging down his back, his coffee untouched. Stitch waited outside beside his motorcycle, deliberately giving Rex some room. Nobody said it, but everyone understood. This wasn't a biker problem. Not yet. This was a frightened little girl walking into a room full of strangers. And one man who had promised himself he'd be there when she did. Maya had done the hardest part. The night before, she'd told Lily that if she wanted to come by Saturday morning, there would be hot chocolate waiting for her. No pressure. No questions. Just a warm booth and someone who would listen. At 8:17, the bell over the diner's front door rang. Rex looked up. And everything inside him went still. Lily Dawson stood just inside the doorway. Same faded olive green jacket. Sleeves rolled 4 times. Purple backpack hanging from one shoulder. Her hair was tangled from sleep, and her eyes moved across the room carefully. Not like a child looking for a familiar face. Like a child checking for danger. First the counter. Then the windows. Then the people. Then the exits. Rex felt something tighten behind his ribs. Lily's eyes landed on him. She stopped. Rex didn't move. Neither did she. For one second, he wondered if she'd turn around and leave. Then Lily looked at the motorcycle jacket hanging from his shoulders. Looked at his face. And took one small step forward. She didn't run. That nearly undid him. Maya crouched beside her and whispered something Rex couldn't hear. Lily nodded. Maya led her toward the back booth. Rex stayed where he was. He didn't want to crowd her. He didn't want to become another grown man telling her what to do. Lily slid into the booth. Maya placed a mug of hot chocolate in front of her. Lily wrapped both hands around it. She didn't drink. She just held it. Rex waited several seconds before taking the seat across from her. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Rex had faced drunks. Fights.
Rex.
Men with bad intentions and nothing to lose. None of it had prepared him for an 8-year-old girl with chapped lips looking at him like his next sentence might determine whether she had made the right choice. Finally, Rex said, "I found your note." Lily nodded. "You were real brave writing it." Her fingers tightened around the mug. "I didn't know if you'd read it." "I read it." She looked at him. "All of it?" Rex nodded. "Every word." Something changed in her face. Not relief. Not quite. Something smaller. Like one locked door had moved an inch. Lily finally took a sip. Rex glanced at her backpack. "Did you eat breakfast?" Lily's eyes dropped. That was answer enough. Maya, watching from the counter, quietly put a plate of toast on the table. Lily looked at it. Then at Maya. "That's yours," Maya said. Lily hesitated. Rex pushed the plate slightly closer. "You don't have to save it for later." Lily looked at him. "How'd you know?" Rex paused. Because he remembered the granola bar Maya had told him about. Because he had read the note. Because he'd spent half the night thinking about what it meant when a child learned to make food last. But he didn't want to make her explain herself. Just a guess. Lily took one piece. She ate slowly, carefully. Rex watched her without staring. After a few minutes, he asked, "Tell me about your house." Lily's shoulders immediately tightened. Rex caught it. "Never mind." Her eyes came up. He shook his head. "You don't have to tell me anything you're not ready to tell me." Lily stared at him. That seemed to surprise her more than the question had. Finally she whispered, "It's cold." Rex nodded. "Okay. I sleep on the towel because the floor is colder." His jaw tightened. "But Uncle Dale doesn't hurt me," she added quickly. Rex stopped. Lily's eyes were suddenly nervous. "I didn't say he did." She looked down. "He gets mad when people ask questions." Rex felt the temperature inside him drop. "What kind of questions?" Lily didn't answer. Rex immediately backed away. "You don't have to tell me." She took another bite of toast. After a moment she said, "Sometimes he forgets I'm supposed to get picked up." Rex looked at her. "From school?" She nodded. "Sometimes I wait." "How long?" Lily shrugged. "Until everybody leaves." Rex's hands slowly closed beneath the table. But his voice remained gentle. "Okay." He didn't promise something he couldn't guarantee. Didn't tell her everything was going to be fine. He simply said, "You're not waiting alone today." Lily looked up. For the first time, something almost resembling a smile appeared. It disappeared quickly. But Rex saw it. And somehow that tiny smile felt heavier than anything he'd carried on his motorcycle. A few minutes later, Rex stood near the counter with Bishop. "You seeing this?" Rex whispered. Bishop didn't look at him. "Yeah." "She's scared." "Of more than Dale." Rex glanced back at Lily. "What does that mean?" Bishop's eyes moved toward the little girl. "It means we don't rush her." Rex nodded. Then Maya slid into the booth beside Lily. She kept her voice low. A few minutes later, Rex stood near the counter with Bishop. "You seeing this?" Rex whispered. Bishop didn't look at him. "Yeah." "She's scared." "Of more than Dale." Rex glanced back at Lily. "What does that mean?" Bishop's eyes moved toward the little girl. "It means we don't rush her." Rex nodded. Then Maya slid into the booth beside Lily. She kept her voice low. "Can I ask you something, sweetheart?" Lily nodded. "Why his bike?" Lily looked toward Rex. He was standing near the front window with his back partially turned. She watched him for several seconds. Then she said, "Because he looks safe." Maya waited. Lily's fingers curled around the warm mug. "He looks strong." The pause. "And sad." Maya's expression softened. "Why sad?" Lily looked toward Rex again. "Like he lost someone too." Maya didn't answer immediately. She looked at the little girl. Then toward Rex. And suddenly she understood something. Lily hadn't simply picked a big man on a motorcycle. She had been looking for someone who carried the same kind of hurt she carried. Someone who might understand what it meant to lose somebody and still wake up every morning with the empty space sitting beside you. Maya eventually walked over to Rex. She didn't say anything. She simply looked at him. Rex saw her expression. "What?" Maya lowered her voice. "She says you look strong and sad." Rex's face changed. "She said that in the note." "I know." Maya looked toward Lily. "She noticed it before you ever knew she was watching." Rex turned toward the window. One hand came down against the sill. For a moment, he couldn't speak. Because somewhere in that little girl's mind, his grief had made him look safe. And Rex wasn't sure whether that was comforting or heartbreaking. Stitch came inside a few minutes later. He didn't announce himself. He simply walked toward the booth. His manner was gentle enough that Lily didn't pull away. He introduced himself. Asked permission before checking her temperature. Asked before looking at her ankle. Asked before examining the places where the hard floor had left soreness and bruising. Nothing dramatic. Nothing rushed. Just careful attention. He let Lily listen to her own heartbeat through the stethoscope. She listened. Then looked up. "That's me." Stitch smiled. "That's you." For the first time that morning, Lily smiled properly. It lasted maybe 2 seconds. But Rex saw it. and something inside him cracked a little wider. Stitch finished his quiet assessment. Then he wrote several things in a small notebook. Rex watched him. Stitch closed it. Bishop noticed too. He crossed the diner and knelt beside Lily's booth until they were at eye level. "You wrote to someone strong," Bishop said. Lily looked at Rex. Bishop followed her eyes. "Well, he heard you." Lily looked back at Bishop. "We all did." She didn't speak. Bishop's voice softened. "Nobody's forgetting you now." Lily stared at him. Then at Rex. Hope appeared in her face. Just for a second. And Rex realized something terrifying. Hope was dangerous when somebody had spent too long without it. Because once Lily started believing them, they couldn't afford to let her down. Maya packed a paper sack with food before Lily left. Lily held it against her chest. At the door, she stopped. She looked back at Rex. He expected her to say goodbye. Instead, she asked, "Are you going to be here Thursday?" Rex blinked. "Yeah." Lily nodded. "Okay." Then she left with Maya. Rex watched through the window until the two disappeared down the sidewalk. Only then did he turn around. Stitch was standing behind him. The notebook was still in his hand. Rex looked at his face. And immediately knew. How bad? Stitch didn't answer right away. He glanced toward the door Lily had just walked through. Then back at Rex. "Bad enough," he said quietly, "that we don't get to wait very long." Rex's expression hardened. "Wait for what?" Stitch looked at Bishop. Bishop didn't answer. And that silence told Rex something worse than any words could have. Whatever they had just discovered about Lily, they weren't ready to tell him in front of her.